Hello, this is AnlineOffline. Welcome back to another Casuals Quick Guide to Call of Duty Mobile. For today's video, we'll be covering the TEC-9. Introduced in Season 3 of 2024, the TEC-9 is an automatic SMG from Cold War, and later returned in Modern Warfare 2 2022 as the F-TAC Siege Machine Pistol. Not to be confused with the Brugger Atomic Design bot from Steyr, or Ruger's failed Uzi upgrade. This MP9 was originally a Swedish SMG by Interdynamic AB. However, this simplistic design couldn't compete against proven SMGs like the MP5 for military contracts. Thus they decided to branch out to the civilian market in America, and rebranded the MP9 as the KG-9 pistol, named after its founders George Kellgren and Carlos Garcia. Shortly after, the ATF believed it and other open-bolt semi-autos were too easily convertible into full auto. Interdynamic complied and modified it into the closed-bolt KG-99. When Kellgren left to found Grendel and later Keltec, Interdynamic was renamed to Intratec, and the KG-99 became the TEC-9. Cheap, intimidating, and with high capacity. It was popular amongst gangsters. However, it wasn't always reliable, and quality control would further suffer following bankruptcy after defending itself in court over what criminals did with their weapons. Intratec worked around a 1989 ban in California by making minor alterations for a variant designated for the state. But in 1993, TEC-9 would further be vilified for its use in the 101 California street shooting. The following year, Congress passed a direct federal assault weapons ban on the TEC-9, and others including Galils, Uzis, MAC-10s, Striker shotguns, and Chinese AKs. As a final attempt to abide by regulations, an after-ban variant with a 10-round mag was designed that didn't have a barrel shroud or threading. But the final nail in the coffin came when two teenagers used a pre-ban DC variant at Columbine. In 2003, Intratec dissolved after defending itself in court over what happened 10 years earlier in California Street. With such a reputation in violent crime, it's only natural that it would trickle into related media like movies, music, and video games. It's actually surprising it took so long to appear in Call of Duty, despite having no place in a military setting. As for mobile, base damage per shot is technically moderate, but is amplified by its unique multipliers. Headshots are 20% extra and aren't useful unless you land multiple. The rest of the body is 10% extra, and turns what would be a 4, 5, and 7 shot kill into a consistent 3 to 6 shot kill. In Cold War, it was semi-auto by default, but much like the FR556 and pistols in this game, it's treated as a slower automatic with a fire rate of 462 rounds per minute. The only other auto primary that is slower is the Odin at 414. The base bullet speed is 600 meters per second. This gives you a near average time to kill up close, but this base effective range is only 12 meters, as it soon becomes one of the worst performing weapons to use beyond this. Moving on to barrel attachments. Extended increases your bullet speed by 40% with no drawbacks. Reinforced heavy increases range by 17% and bullet speed by a solid 60%, but this destroys your mobility. The Ranger barrel increases bullet speed by 80%, but this hurts your strafe speed even worse. The Task Force barrel increases your bullet speed like the Ranger barrel, but also grants a flat 10% damage boost to all body multipliers. This doesn't help much in close or long range, but it replaces your 5-shot range with a longer 4-shot range. The TEC-9 also has special muzzles that completely changes how it plays. The full auto repeater increases the fire rate to match the RPD at 659 rounds per minute. This comes with 10% less range, more vertical recoil, and the limbs will now deal base damage, making its time to kill slower than base up close and inconsistent. But this can be restored with the Task Force barrel. The other conversion is the burst fire repeater, which increases your fire rate up to 982 rounds per minute, with a burst delay of 101 milliseconds. Combined with its large mag attachments, this is the most spammy burst weapon in the game. Unlike full auto, it doesn't hurt your chances of a 3-shot kill up close, and this full body 1 burst is one of the fastest killing weapons without multiple headshots. However, this comes with a 40% range penalty. The task force barrel isn't necessary unless you want bullet speed, because on paper, it's also a guaranteed 2 burst across the map. But in practice, it's not very likely to do so, but we'll cover that in the accuracy section of this video. In terms of mobility, the base movement speeds are below average amongst SMGs except for average strafing. When built for sprinting, it can achieve the 8th fastest speed in the game. When built for strafing, it can be the 12th fastest. The drop time is comparable to pistols. The base mag size is the standard 30 and can be extended to 37, 38, 40, 45, and 50. Reload times are fast, but cancelling cuts it in half. As for accuracy, the Bloom is average for an SMG, but is subpar compared to all others, especially for other burst weapons. Coupled with slow base bullet speed, 2 bursting across the map is not likely. When not in burst, you'll struggle to compete against ARs and other SMGs at mid-range. Hipfire performance will vary. The spread is not impressive for SMGs, but the high damage to the legs might be worth the risk. The iron sights are solid. The recoil is easily manageable even with task force barrel. It does have a bit of visual noise though. The TEC-9 has high flinch, but it can achieve the lowest possible flinch with attachments. So what are my thoughts on the TEC-9? I think that the base version is the second worst SMG behind the Hollow Point Striker 45. Yes, it has low recoil, consistent high damage, attachments for no flinch and fast mobility, but it doesn't change what is at best average time to kill, with less than average impact, no suppressors, 1 range barrel, and 1 laser for Bloom. For what it's worth, it is for the better that it's not truly semi-auto like in Cold War, because a 3-shot semi-auto primary has no place in COD Mobile. Yes, it did get a range buff recently, but it's not much because it's carried by its muzzle conversions. Personally, I think that the full auto version is underrated. It suffers the same drawbacks as the base, but a much faster fire rate combined with task force gives the TEC-9 the fastest full body time to kill of any non-burst weapon, aside from the ASM-10's Branson Hyperburst. Sure, it doesn't shoot as fast as typical aggressive SMGs, but it's more fair to compare with its higher damage peers. The HG-40 is a fellow SMG that can 3-shot, albeit with a headshot, and has the accuracy and range attachments to play like an AR. But a full auto TEC-9 with task force is more suited for aggression with its 3 shots to the legs, faster movement, and more reliable reload cancels. Much more popular than the HG is the Bison, which can 3-shot to the arms, has a faster potential strafe speed with 1 stock, and a mag size that rivals LMGs. If I had to choose close range, then I would still choose the Auto Task Force TEC-9. Otherwise, the Bison is possibly the easiest gun to use. The burst version is one of the most lethal weapons in this game. If not for the TEC-9, I would have argued that the Chi-Com could have been the best spam burst weapon for respawns. Instead, the TEC-9 has full body lethality, faster fire rate and reload times, shorter burst delay, and large mags that don't hurt movement. But the Chi-Com is no slouch either. The faster strafe speed, accuracy, and no bullet speed would make it more consistent at mid-range. And last but not least, the CX-9 with hollow points. In a one-on-one gunfight or slower paced mode, I might pick the CX as a high-risk, high-reward option for its faster movement, range, and initial bloom. But for respawns, the larger mags of the TEC-9 allows it to go on longer streaks. It's not as overpowered as it was in Cold War, but has translated well to COD Mobile. It has potential, but it's currently overshadowed by the MG42 and Thermite Man of War. Does it need any changes? I don't know. I guess first off, the description is misleading. Second, there is no reason for this gun to be among the few to have substandard impact. The F-Tac Siege might be off limits because it's already in Warzone Mobile, and Activision doesn't seem interested in giving COD Mobile anything newer than Vanguard. Instead, I can only guess what adding Akimbo would do. If we take the Makarov or Dobra as a template, the TEC-9 would have about the same time to kill, but with more drawbacks, which is rather anticlimactic and worse off if we apply the Phoenix version. But hey, that's just my opinion. This has been a Casual's quick guide. Feel free to suggest what weapons you want to see covered next. My name is On, and I'm off.